Hello everybody, welcome to the Ditton Works YouTube channel. Today I'm going to take apart these Colisium Carillon speakers. We're going to have a look inside, see what we can find in there, see what they're made of, put them back together and have a listen to how they sound. Okay, let's take them to bits. I'll see you in a minute. So let's have a look inside these speakers. So multiple screws. It's going to take me ages to get those all fully undone, but I really wanted to have a look inside these. As you can see, you might be able to see there that this is a HiVi research bass driver, which looks remarkably similar to Dyne Audio, and I think that's the HiVi Ribbon Tweeter as well. But let's finish taking these apart and we'll have a look inside. Okay, so I've removed the bass driver, and that's a really well made chassis, but look, I don't know if you guys can see that. That cone is the width of the voice coil, and there's only a few drivers I've ever seen like that. Morel and Dyne Audio have this huge voice coil arrangement. So that's the bass driver. Let's continue taking it apart. We'll have a look at the tweeter and then the crossover. Okay, undone the tweeter. That's a NeoCD3.0 Ribbon Tweeter from Fountek. I've seen these online. They're like a DIY kit builder's type of tweeter, and very well made. It looks the part, and in as a whole system they sound pretty good. So let's dive right in and see if we can have a look at the crossover, because this is undoubtedly a sort of bespoke pair of speakers. So we've got the HiVi bass unit, the Fountek Ribbon Tweeter. Let's see what they did on the crossover, because that shouldn't be an off the market or off the shelf type of thing. That should be a custom made crossover for these drivers to all work. Let's have a look. Okay, I can't get to the crossover particularly easily, but inside there you've got a pretty large clarity cap, a resistor and a couple of inductors in there, fairly rudimentarily connected to a piece of board which is fairly well isolated and glued in. A long cardboard tube there which is going right down there to the port, so it's a very deep port. Whoever done the port tuning on this felt it necessary to have a very deep port. And there's two different types of internal wadding. So the usual sort of teddy bear stuffing is at the lower part of the cabinet around the crossover and the top half of the port, and then the much nicer, just nice and speckly in there, sound deadening type acoustic foam that you often find in some of the higher end speakers. Decent wiring, and all the drive units, I mean, they fit perfectly. That's some really nice cabinetry. That's a beautiful finish on these. It's that sort of burr walnut kind of finish. So these are really well put together, really well thought out pair of speakers. But let's put them all back together and we'll give them a proper demo. There's one last thing I wanted to show before we give these a listen, put them on the stands, is the quality of this terminal plate. You've got these really huge terminals with these fantastic by-wire links. I mean, that's really clever. I like that sort of spring-loaded so they pop into place. And I don't know if you can see, so we've got Colisium Developments, Bath, Somerset. So these were made in the UK. You can just see the veneer joins there, which are exceptionally neat. And it's called the Carillon. So the whole thing is called the Carillon, but it's made up of the HiVi bass unit, as we saw, and the sort of DIY kit builder's dream ribbon tweeter. Really nicely finished. Lovely little attention to detail. So something that I noticed on Bowers & Wilkins a few years ago on their CM range, that they'd done this grill fitting with the magnets hidden behind the veneer, which I think is a great little idea, because you end up with this very neat looking baffle board without the peg holes in there, and then that just clips into place. And I just thought that's a nice little finishing touch. But yeah, fantastically well made. Right, let's get these on the stands and we'll have a listen. Okay, speakers are all back together, working as they should, which is not a surprise because they worked perfectly before I took them apart. Okay, these are a kit-built kind of speaker, maybe to the next level, similar to say Wilmslow Audio, who build their own speakers from a kit, but offer you them as a kit. I would imagine either somebody very talented put these together or a company built a few of them. There's hardly any information on the internet. I found one other pair that had been sold some years ago. I have listened to them before shooting this bit of the video, and the bass is just out of this world for a speaker of that size. It's just unbelievable. Now I know things like SL series, Celestion SLs don't have huge amounts of bass, the KEF RDMs don't. The Spendors don't have a huge amount of bass, and neither the Proax, so it might just be that I'm used to slightly more bass shy speakers and these just sound incredibly bassy. But we'll give you a play of La Bamba jazz variants and we'll see what you guys think. Okay, those timpanis, oh my word, so that shakes the whole room. I've not heard a two-way stand mount bass bookshelf or stand mount speaker in my house that can produce that amount of bass. That's pretty thunderous. The only thing I've had that comes close to that are my SD Acoustics SD3s, which ironically have a very similar looking driver made by Morel. Big voice coil, ported, very well braced, two-way cabinet. So they sound a lot like SD Acoustics. The difference there is the SD Acoustics have a soft silk dome tweeter. These are a ribbon tweeter, so the xylophones and the hi-hats, metal instruments just ring out brilliantly on a metal tweeter. But with a ribbon, it's a lot faster, so all of those are really, really crisp, very coherent. I would say the bass is slightly slow compared to the Spendors or the Proax. These aren't quite as well timed, but that's probably the difference between a moving coil unit and a ribbon tweeter. It's very hard to get those coherent and to work well together. A good example of that would be the Celestion 7000 or 5000, that the ribbon is phenomenal. The bass driver just always seemed to be trying to catch up with that. And it's a little bit like that with them, but not too bad. I could live with that. Bass wise, probably a little bass heavy for my liking, but that could be I'm just used to speakers that really are a little bit shy on bass. They're probably even more bassy than my Celestion A1s, that they really have got an enormous amount of wallop behind them. Okay, we'll listen to a little bit more of this and then we'll call it a day. Yep, I really quite like those. They are incredibly well made. I think somebody's done a brilliant job of those. Had I built them, I think I'd be really quite pleased as well. Personally, I may have tried to find a bass driver that was a little bit faster, maybe a paper cone unit, something that could react a little bit quicker, just to keep in timing with that ribbon tweeter. But kudos to whoever built those, very, very good. Just another thing I've got to mention, a guy on the Meridian Facebook page, absolutely over the moon with his idea. I developed a slight buzz that was starting to come through the speakers after going to XLR cables, and that was really annoying me, and I thought, I'm going to have to get the amplifier serviced. After chatting with this guy, he basically said that the phono ins, or the RCA ins, need to be isolated, because when you plug the XLRs in, it doesn't completely switch off those auxiliary inputs. And what he told me to do was work perfectly. There's absolutely no buzz coming from the speakers whatsoever. So it means my Meridian 557 can stay in service for a bit longer. Anyway, thank you very much. I've enjoyed doing this. I love taking speakers apart and having a look at them. So I hope you've enjoyed it too. Take care, people. Speak to you soon. Hi guys, this is a little bonus piece at the end of this video. I shot the original video at about 11 o'clock this morning, and I was going to get some information on the drive units to add in the description to give you some specification of the drive units. And I found the drive units, and while I was looking for the spec for the drive units, I actually stumbled upon the guy who actually made these. And I've had a chat with him on the phone. He was a lovely bloke, and he actually made six or so pairs of these Carillon speakers, and has made several other pairs since. What I found incredibly interesting is he sent me a picture of where they were reviewed in the December 20th 2009 edition of HiFi-world, and when he sent the pictures through, I said, is the pair I've got those in the magazine? And he said yes. So I've actually got the pair that were reviewed in that very magazine. So I found a copy of that on eBay, about £7, and I've ordered it just to have a little bit of provenance with these speakers. I find it incredible, and it was interesting reading some of the professional reviewers' comments, because they were quite in line with mine. And you have to believe me, I honestly didn't know this information before I did the review. I never do. I don't read anything about the speaker because I want it to be completely non-biased. I want my own opinions on what I think the speaker's doing, rather than just copying somebody else's words. So I found that quite interesting, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I enjoyed doing it, and I especially enjoyed finding out that those speakers were the very ones from that magazine that were reviewed. Anyway, take care guys, I'll see you soon.